Hello, this video would deal with a ProtectDB installation and short demo. ProtectDB as a product, it's one of entire suite of data encryption and control products that Gemalto offers that include Protect App, Protect File, and there's a separate videos that covers other products. So here I'm starting with SQL install on my SQL Server. I will use evaluation version with minimum features. But the concept is the same. Once you have data in the database, in the table, you will see how I can specify what data I want to encrypt, what permissions I would apply on this data. So in this case, I will use a mix mode authentication. And here I set up a password for my SA account as well as Windows authentication with administrator. I do make some fast forward here because the installation itself takes good 30 minutes. I validate my installation successful, click on close. And now I also want to install Management Studio. So I'm going to download it from the website and run install for this part. Again, fast forward. Now that I have Microsoft SQL installed, I will need to add .NET as is required by ProtectDB application. ProtectDB agent that I'm about to install communicate with external key secure, and for this reason I need to adjust firewall rules to allow specific port traffic on specific port to come through. This port can be adjusted, but by default it's 1433. Let me open Microsoft SQL Server to create some sample data that we're going to use for encryption to show how ProtectDB encrypt certain columns. I have a script and I'll just execute the script. As a result, I get my customer data table. And if I search and look inside, you see social security number, and also you might see here card number, credit card number. To successfully operate ProtectDB needs to store some technical data inside of a database. It can be existing database or it can be dedicated database. So ProtectDB comes in the form of installable folders. There's documentation folder and install folder. There are some tools that need it for troubleshooting or maybe more in-depth diagnosis. Update if you need to install ProtectDB on top of existing instance. And what I run here is a setup file. I specify what database to use for technical information that ProtectDB will use. I select the IP address for KeySecure, and then ProtectDB installer just drop some files, create data inside of SQL, and require me to restart SQL Server. Once I have my SQL and ProtectDB installed, I switch to KeySecure. And the first thing that I want to do, I want to create a user that's going to be associated with the key owner. And I also will create another user that I will use later on for my policy setup. Now that I have two users, I'm going to create keys that I will be using on ProtectDB for data encryption. I need to specify who's the owner of the key. I need to select what algorithm I want to use. And I click on Create. I also want to show you additional key type. This time I will select this key to be versioning key. As in the previous case, I will select algorithm, I will select user, and this time I will also select versioning key as a feature. Checking my keys, I see two keys. One is selected as versioning key. Two keys have the same owner, ProtectDB user. So I have my users, I have my keys. Now I'm going to add the database itself. So you can see different databases that we support. I will give it a name. I will select the IP address of my ProtectDB node, port. In my case, I use SA as a user. I will type the database name and my database where technical information for ProtectDB are stored. So I click on Add Database. If everything is good and my firewall is adjusted appropriately, this is what I see. And this is a connection between KeySecure and ProtectDB. To enforce user separation or to enforce user permissions, I will need to create a mapping between the user who can get an access and operate the key, encryption key. And then at the same time, I will say that by default, and so my default mapping will be assigned to a user that do not have any access or any permissions on key operation. So only specific user, in my case SA, will be able and encrypt data and see data in clean. Any other user will not be able and get an access to this data, and we will see it in a second. So I'm going to add a certain tables that I want to protect. So in my case, it's customer data. I immediately see all these columns. I select the column that I want to protect, and I will select key and algorithm that I want to use. I have some additional parameters here, more information available in administrative guide. Here specifically, I want to replace the error message. Potentially, the person who would not have an access to this encrypted information will get error message. So I can create a replacement value, and instead of SQL just drop an error message, it will return a certain value. So you can see one time I use regular key, and this time I use a versioning key. It will make a difference whenever down the road you will need to make a key rotation. So I selected two different columns. to encrypt. I click on continue, start job, continue. I go through simple wizard here. I can see what exactly going to happen to my database. And when I refresh, you will see that protectDB will actually start to migrate data and encrypt data. As I have my encryption done, I will see that KeySecure still let me know that there's old data, so we need to clean up. In production environment, this is what we do. So once data cleaned, we have nice interface saying that certain columns been encrypted with the specific keys. And now we're back to SQL Server to see what it actually means. So I have first connection I did with administrator. So let me run query on protected data. Once I execute this query, the data that I get back, you can see social security number being replaced by nines and card number being replaced by appropriate value. However, when I connect as a designated user, in this case it's SA, it obviously can be a service account that you run your web application with, and so only through the service account you will get a clear data. I will do exactly the same query. And you can see that this credentials or this identity can see data in clear. So this is how you make a separation or encryption in a such way that only specific user or account can get an access to clear data. Now let's say a year after, you will come to need to rotate your keys, database keys. So rotation will happen through the KeySecure. You can create a new key. So let me create one. Very similar procedure. You create key, you select who is the owner of this key. Now I have 3 keys. Versioning key, it's a unique property of versioning key is from the key standpoint, from the metadata, it shares the exactly same metadata attributes, but the key value is actually different. So what I do now, I will go to protect DB configuration, customer data, and all I do is select the key rotation option. And now I can specify what key I want to use to encrypt my data. That's it. I try to cover here installation and simple demo. More information available in our documentation, administrative guide, as well our professional services can come on site, make more in-depth validation of environment, and help you to install protectDB or other connectors that works along with KeySecure. Thank you for watching.